Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of United Talks podcast. Thank you very much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Today, we're going to be reviewing more like a match analysis of the game between Manchester United and Southampton. We ended in a 1-0 win for Man United, but we're going to break it down into different phases of how the game went and all of that. So, thank you for joining me on this journey, and we're going to keep riding together and going on match analysis like this. And there's more to come. So, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so we can dive right in. Now, we're going to break this absolutely thrilling night at Old Trafford last night. I mean, Manchester United won 3-1, and just to tell you, it just wasn't just another game, right? This was the Diallo show. I mean, late drama, unexpected hero, a roller coaster emotion, right? Roller coaster of emotions, basically. Like I was literally scratching my head. And in today's video, we'll break down the incredible comeback win, analyze the key moments, and talk about how Amad Diallo stepped up to save the day. Let's get right in. Come on, let's get right in. Now, here's how it unfolded. Basically, for the most part of the game, things were looking a little bit bleak. I mean, it was flat. Players were not running as fast, or they were too rushed into making decisions, avoiding holding the ball, getting tackled, dilly-dallying on the ball for too long. It was a little bit lethargic and all of that. Southampton struggling at the bottom of the Premier League. One would expect that they would even be scared to play at Old Trafford, and then they stunned us just before halftime. Tyler Diblin's flick was turned into our own net by Manuel Ugarte. It wasn't his fault. He turned his back while he was challenging another player, and suddenly we're trailing 1-0 at Old Trafford. Who would have thought? I mean, in my match preview, I talked about us not underrating Southampton, and we should always ensure that we lock everything down, and because they could score goals. I mean, Tyler Diblin scored 2 goals in the previous game, in their cup game. Yeah, they've been losing, and they only have 6 points, in the lowest they've ever been in the Premier League. I mean, the lowest that any bottom club has ever been in the Premier League. So it's not a good start for them, right? But if we were to go deep into like breaking down all of this, one would understand that certain things happen for a reason, right? Certain things happen to wake us up. But that first half was incredibly horrendous, right? It was incredibly horrendous at Old Trafford. Now, this moment that they scored the 1 goal, which was their first, another stat to note in this game is that it was their first goal that they've scored in and through corners. And it was Manchester United's 10th goal conceded through corners or set piece, as the case may be. Now, the moment marked our 6th time going behind at halftime in the Premier League home game this season. So it is a worrying start that sparks of our that speaks volumes of our trouble, our struggles with consistency. But in all honesty, for the majority of the match, it felt like we were heading for a 4th straight home defeat. That's also bad. But then Amad Diallo happened to Southampton. Amad Diallo happened. So many things happened. So many things led to, coming up with that win. I mean, the head coach spotted the weakness, spotted the lack of pace, and made so many changes. The first one that really shocked me was bringing on Anthony at halftime. We brought on Anthony at halftime. I'm like, what is the manager or the head coach trying to do? What is he trying to achieve with this? He brought Anthony at halftime, and we're like, okay, let's see where this is going to head. Let's see where this is going to take us. And then, next thing, he changed again and brought 2 more players. He brought Joshua Zirkzee on for, I think he brought Anthony on, took off Kobe Menu. Brought on Joshua Zirkzee, took off Højlund, brought on Toby Collier, and took off Manuel Ugarte. And I'm like, you take off the strength in the midfield, moved Bruno to mid, and then left Amad right wing, put Anthony up top as one of the 10s. He few touches here and there and all that. But the change that really changed the game was Joshua Xerxes and Toby Collier coming in. Toby Collier bringing a bit of control, less rash, but more safe passing, more pace and legs in the midfield. He's still fresh. I mean, I made an excuse on X that these players are playing because they're playing like this because I feel like they are still recovering from the 120 minutes. And we still haven't caught our breath, let alone preparing for the next game against Southampton and the next game after this now. But in the 82nd minute, Amad Diallo gave Manchester United a lifeline that we desperately needed. I mean, everybody was scratching their heads, biting their nails. I'm like, we knew that a goal was coming, but how would a goal come because there was no outlet? It was difficult, especially with Højlund on the pitch. It was really difficult. There was no outlet for us. We played the long balls. We played short balls. They were pressing us high, pressing us really high and pressing our fullbacks. Nusa Mazraoui was finding it difficult to push up. Amad Diallo was finding it difficult to push up. But in the second half, they started pushing up and started attacking and started squeezing Southampton. Despite that, Southampton was still pushing up, right? And then their manager, Ivan Juric, started to make changes, even though he brought up the Italian style. And it was easy for them to kind of press us really hard and press us really high and mark us one-to-one, which is one of the things I noticed when we're analyzing the match preview. Now, in the second minute, Amad gave us a lifeline and that we desperately needed. He latched on to a through ball and steered it straight under Aaron Ramsdale's hand to level the game at 1-1. I mean, that through ball it was more like he got the ball and then he tried to do some step overs. That was what I really noticed in that. It was 1-on-1 with Kyle Walker-Peters, and then he tried to do some step overs. Kyle Walker-Peters moved away or moved to one side, I think to his left side, and Amad tried to strike the ball with his right foot, and then it hit Kyle Walker-Peters, who deflected the ball back into Amad's path again, and then Amad just struck it under Ramsdale's arm, and it was scenes of excitement. He grabbed the ball and started running back to the middle, and then after that, this was at the second minute. I'm pretty sure like half of the fans already have started, or most of the fans have started going home at the 80th minute. But he wasn't done yet. Just a minute later, in the 90th minute, Christian Eriksen floated a brilliant dink into the box. You see that on social media. You see it on our shorts. Christian Eriksen floated a brilliant dink into the box, and Diallo volleyed it home with composure that belied his years. I mean, he was already in the air, just volleyed it and tried to hit it past Ramsdale, and it went kind of like a little halfway through under his arm in the air, and Old Trafford erupted. Online platforms erupted, like streams and live streams were just all over the place. And then if you thought it was over, think again. In the dying moments, as always with Amad, think about the 90th minute, extra time winner over 90 minutes. Amad scored against Liverpool. So if you thought it was over, then think again. Now, in the dying moments of stoppage time, Southampton's Taylor Harwood-Bellis gifted the ball to Amad Diallo. Like, he had a bad touch, and then I think he got a pass from Aaron Ramsdale, had a bad touch, and then Amad pounced. As always, he always pounces on bad touches. He's very quick. And I think around that time, I think Ruben Amorim switched Amad with Anthony and basically brought Anthony to a wing-back position and Amad to one of the 10s. And that was it. He pressed the living daylight out of Southampton. And when Harwood-Bellis made that bad first touch, Amad just pounced and rolled it into an empty net because Ramsdale was on the other side of the field of the 6-yard box waiting for a pass from Harwood-Bellis. And then that was how Amad got his hat-trick. And 3 goals in the final 10 minutes. I mean, absolutely sensational. This was the performance for the history books. I mean, he's had so many historical performances, but this one was for the history books. But Diallo's hat-trick wasn't just a remarkable timing. It wasn't just about remarkable timing. It wasn't just remarkable, but it was historic. I mean, he's now the youngest player to ever score a hat-trick for Manchester United at Old Trafford in Premier League. To put this into perspective, only 2 other United players have scored 3 goals in final 10 minutes of Premier League games. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer back in 1999, the famous 1999 against Nottingham Forest, and Wayne Rooney against Hull City in 2010. Amad Diallo just joined the elite company, and he was the first Manchester United player to score a hat-trick for Manchester United since Cristiano Ronaldo in 2022. So he's in elite company, right? But with regards to key performances, balanced tone, like basically balanced game, and the performances and struggles, let's not forget the bigger picture here. While Amad Diallo was the undisputed hero, the game also exposed some issues. Anthony missed a golden opportunity on the hour mark after Alejandro delivered a perfect cross from the left. It could have changed the game much earlier, but instead it added a little bit more pressure. On the defensive side, it was worth noting that this was the first time since Rafael Varane's own goal in 2023 that United considered an own goal at Old Trafford in the Premier League. Defensive lapses like this needed to be addressed if we were going to climb up the table. We shouldn't be conceding goals like this. But with regards to league position and an outlook on things, the win moves United up 12th position ahead of Tottenham. And it's still far from where we want to be, but it's a start. I mean, the draw against Liverpool and now the win against Southampton. But Ruben Amorim said himself that these games are like the games that teach him more about his players. It's more like teaches him more about the players with regards to how they react, how they work hard, how their mentality, their alertness, and all of that. So he says it is matches like these that teach him more about his players than just the big matches like the ones against Arsenal or Liverpool. And he's absolutely right. I mean, the fight, the resilience, the determination we showed in these final 10 minutes are what we need to build upon as a team. And we need to show it a whole game. Like we need to show it for a whole game, right? And the next game is going to be very intriguing. One to be able to think about and talk about. But on a positive note, what's next for Manchester United? We've got plenty of work to do, basically plenty of work to do. But if Amad Diallo's performance tells us anything, it is that this team has players who are ready to step up when it matters the most. This team has players who are ready to step up when it matters the most. So what do you think about the game? Is Amad Diallo's future? Is Amad Diallo the future for Manchester United? Many fans have talked about building the team around Amad. But how can Ruben Amorim use this momentum to turn this season around? I mean, I still remember a picture of Dave Brailsford, Sir Dave Brailsford, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe in the stadium, and they looked disappointed. And this happens with the media and the cameras. The moment Manchester United is having a bad game or having a bad day, they will just pan it straight to the owners and start analyzing things and all of that. Well, my question to you is, what do you think about the game? And do you think that Amad Diallo is one for the future? And with what I mean by one for the future is, should Manchester United build a team around him? Let's know your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. Also, don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel for more in-depth match analysis, and share these videos with your fellow fans and friends and family. And also follow us on all our social media platforms at United Talks Pod for at least the latest updates and behind the scenes content and more. Until next time, I'll see you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. God bless you.